Hello, hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Grow Wealthy Grooming. I am your host, Siver Lee, and I am the founder of the Savvy Groomer, where I teach you to go from being burnt out, broke, and broken to healthy, wealthy, and happy, building a grooming business on your terms. So today's going to be a fairly short live, and I want to give you guys the opportunity to come live if you are. I'm going to open up the chat right now. So long story short, today is Valentine's Day for those of you guys watching the replay. And so I thought today would just be a nice, easy, fun topic. Hey, Marie. Hey, Risa. Hey, Jennifer. And I'm not sure who Dog Normus is, but welcome. Welcome everyone live. So today's topic is a little corny, but it's super important. So I thought, especially after all of the comments I got from last week about keeping up with the Joneses, I thought this was really important to talk about. And that is to put yourself first, and that is self-love. So for me personally, self-love was really confusing, right? I always assume that self-love is like spa days and getting my nails done and eating right and exercising. But self-love is so much more. It's depends on what's going on with you in your life. So for instance, I personally have a lot of childhood trauma. I have a lot of wounds around relationships and abandonment and people not doing what they say they're going to do. So part of my self-love is giving myself some grace and some understanding when I make less than ideal choices, whether that's choices in a relationship, choices in a partner, or just simply choices in general. I have this like funny thing I say to myself. It's kind of mean, but like I'll be like, don't be crazy, River, don't be crazy. And it's generally around something that I know is bad for me, and I'm going to do it anyway. So instead, things that I try to do is tell myself, you know what, River, if you got to do this, girl, then let's do this. And let's, find a way to do this in a way that is the least self-sabotaging, destructive, etc. And it's also like, okay, what is going on here that I need to take care of myself? Because there's something going on that I'm not taking care of myself enough. Or there's a wound that I've been ignoring and it's rearing its ugly head. A great example is I've had some really, really toxic relationships, and I keep attracting men in my life that are not emotionally available. And what's awesome is that by doing Savvy Groomer, by using that confused energy instead of beating on myself and saying, why are you attracting people? I focus it towards work. I focus it towards Savvy Groomer. And that's really where the passion projects of things like Soulmate Client come through. Because I can understand it in my business. I can't understand it in my personal life. And that's amazing because it empowers me, right? So taking things away and putting myself first. Hey, Janelle, great to see you here live. So this is the tough part, is figuring out what self-love means to you. For me, it is about taking care of myself because, again, my personal childhood wounds are my parents were fairly absent. My dad owned his own business and he worked every single day. Even on his day off, he was working. And my mom put herself through school. She worked as a McDonald's manager when I was really little. And then she put herself through school. And then she was a teacher, so she had time off. But, when my dad and her split, she was trying to raise 3 little kids, trying to keep the house down. Like, she just really wasn't available for us. So when I do take care of myself, when I do take the time to do my nails, when I do the time to make myself feel pretty, I'm healing that need for that mother to teach me what I would consider feminine things. And that's my personal story. I don't know what yours is, right? Everyone has these wounds, and it may not be our fault that they happen, but it is our job to heal them. And this affects our business, right? Because for me, I know when I'm getting stuck in my business, it's generally because I have one of these wounds popping up. Like recently I've been struggling with some business decisions that for Savvy Groomer that really tug at my heart, because it's so hard for me to balance things where I want to put myself first, but I also want to help people, right? And we do that in the grooming business, right? We want to put ourselves first. We want to put our family first, but we're also here for the pets. So for me, what happened was I had to make a decision about the business membership, where every month I came out with a workshop. And with trying to juggle, Savvy Groomer, getting ready for Atlanta Pet Fair, having other speaking engagements with other companies, building the back end of, right now I'm building 3 different master classes that are going to be coming out over the next year. My virtual assistant had cancer, so a lot of the work that she was doing on the back end became me. And so I had to really sit down and digest what is important to me, and second, what is important to the business and to the people I serve. And what's most important to me is freedom, flexibility, and time. I want to spend time with my son. It's been amazing getting to know my little nephew. He was just born in January. And I want to get to know him. I want to be settled. As you guys know, I've been trying to buy this townhouse, and it's consuming so much of my energy, because if you've never tried to buy a house self-employed with, alone, it's a nightmare. It is such a nightmare. And there's all this stress for me because, as you guys know, I have a homelessness wound, and that stresses me out. The fear that, if I don't get this house, I'll be homeless. And that's an irrational fear. I'm more than capable of getting my own place to live. I'm more than capable of doing a lot of things. But it's that, it's that wound that just keeps popping up. And for me, it shuts me down, or it just stresses me out. Love of grooming is saying, I just started getting my nails done. I've never gotten them done, and now I'm obsessed with gel nails. They don't get ruined by grooming dogs. Yep. I use dip. You have to get, gel or dip. You need a really good person who does it. But I think it just helps me feel more put together. I don't think everybody has to, but I think it's so, so good. Janelle said, I struggle with taking care of myself. I always take care of others, the dogs, the clients, never have time to take care of me. Well, I think that's what I wanted to talk about today is like, last week I talked about keeping up with the Joneses and like trying to keep up appearances. And now it's like, okay, putting yourself first. And it's really messed up because I was always taught you're selfish for you to put yourself first. And again, it's a very raw topic, but I decided between my son's father and I said, okay, I really want to try out living in South Carolina. Is it more selfish for me to take him and rip him out of everything he's known? Or what is the right answer? And what's interesting is that by stepping back and not judging myself and saying, okay, if we take bad mom or guilty mom, which is a character that I really struggle with no matter how much I do. I went from living in my car pregnant to being where I am. And no matter what, there's never enough money to fill the hole that is bad mom or guilty mom. And so it's finding what is best for everybody, but not putting myself last, right? And finding that. And it's been so amazing to say to myself, okay, we're not going to judge you. And that's me talking to me, which sounds crazy. I say, all right, River, we're not judging you. If everything was wiped clean, what would you do? And it's been so freeing because instead of me beating on myself, I would never allow someone to talk to me the way I talk to me. And it's just such a bad habit. Dog Normus is saying, oh, I hated buying a house even with a W-2. Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. Hey, Addie, great to see you. So it is figuring out what makes you feel good. How do you enjoy it? Putting yourself first, whatever way that is. And self-parenting yourself, which sounds so corny. I would have hated me about 5 years ago. I'd be like, this girl is nuts. Listen to her psycho babble nonsense. But it is really important. And so I wanted to bring this up because it really allowed me to make good decisions for my business. And a lot of it was because I wasn't keeping, I don't want to say keeping promises, but I wasn't able to keep up. And I was so mad and frustrated with myself. And I did all the things I tell you guys not to do. And that's what I love about this show is I get to be honest and open and real with you because, I just felt so overwhelmed. I'm saying to myself, wait, if I was this overwhelmed and I had Riverly coaching me, what would she tell me to do? And Riverly would tell me, all right, let's etch a sketch everything. Let's erase everything. What do you need to do? So for Savvy Groomer, there's a few things I decided. I wanted to move in a direction where we're doing deeper dive topics. But that meant I had to sacrifice the smaller potato stuff. So our business membership where we do a workshop every month is going to be turned into a yearly library. And it's going to have the library of all of the workshops, not the master classes, but all of the workshops I offer at a yearly rate. And that was really hard because I always wanted to keep it at a lower price point of $35 and grow it that way. But the man hours of having people be month to month is just unsustainable for my business. I don't have somebody right now that I want to hire to do the back end of adding a new workshop every month, doing, adding all the new people that sign up, removing all the people that don't pay, emailing all the people that don't pay. It just takes up a lot of my time to chase $35. And I have 200 people in that membership. And the idea of telling 200 people, hey, thank you for your loyalty, but, we're going to be moving to this different model was really scary. And I'm going to be doing that tomorrow, actually. I'm going to be sending an email out and doing what I teach you guys to do is say, listen, thank you so much for your patronage. We've got to move in a different direction. And does that scare me and hurt and all that? Yeah, but you know what? Having clients agree to a year so if they don't pay, that's okay. I have an entire year versus people every month and chasing people is just not what I wanted to do. And again, if this was the only product I had, it wouldn't be a big deal. But I have coaching clients. I have, all of this background stuff I'm doing. And this is the thing. If you're going to do a membership, you must do it well. And my membership that I offered for the business workshops only worked on a month-to-month basis if I had that person doing that in the background for me. Right? And this is why if I teach you guys about grooming memberships, you want to have that be the only stream of income or your main focus. Because if you're doing all these other things, it will become too much work. So we decided we're going to do that. And that was really hard for me because I always wanted to have a lower price point product. And I'm just not going to. Instead, I'm going to offer more free shit. I thought to myself, instead of trying to limp along, chasing people for money, becoming resentful, I'm going to put me first. I'm going to put my business first, right? I'm going to do what's right for the business. And so that also brings me to our next thing that we're doing, right? So the first thing that we're doing, and again, I have little pictures we're going to change the grooming business membership to the the business workshop library. It's going to be, we've got over 20 workshops in there. When I go to speak at seminars, if I do a recording of them, I'm going to put them right in there. They're just going to be a giant library. And that gives me time too to really hone in teaching you guys and organizing it. And again, this is not what it was really funny. I really fought it. I really didn't want to do this. I tried everything but the obvious because I felt in my heart like I want to stay at $35 a month. That's affordable, but it wasn't working in my business. So I have to shift that. And I said, well, what is my heart telling me? I want to give more, right? That's why I want to keep it cheap because I want to be more accessible. Well, that brings us to our next thing. We are launching the Greedy Bitch new podcast where groomers stop apologizing for charging their worth. So we are going to be doing that hopefully this week, if not next week. I am still working out the tech on the back end. It's been very difficult. Again, the hours that I'm spending chasing people over $35, I don't have time to learn. You guys always think I'm so tech savvy. Your girl is not tech savvy. She's doing the best she can. I mean, for God's sake, she can't figure out how to like blur the background using this app. I can figure it with Zoom. We're just making everything work that way we can. But I'm so excited. I said to myself, okay, what's more important to me? Giving free content and helping people that are not ready to afford working with me, or charging them $35. And the truth is, I'd rather offer more free stuff than have to chase people over $35. Because the people that I'm chasing for $35, if they can't afford $35, then they shouldn't be in the product. And they have tons of free stuff. And so I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be, my price point is going to start, except for my virtual coffees, it's going to start at about $200. The library is going to be $197 a year. And I think that's very fair. And it simplifies things for me. And this is what I teach you guys, right? I teach you guys to listen to yourself, to follow yourself, and do what's right for you. And that's exactly why this show this week is so important. Really put yourself first. Love yourself. Love yourself enough to give yourself some grace. If you are sitting there and grappling over a decision, ask yourself really, what is the nugget of truth? And for me, the nugget of truth wasn't that I wasn't worried about the money of that membership. What I was having trouble with is that I needed someone on the back end to keep an eye on payments. I needed help, but I wasn't ready to hire somebody else. I do hope that, my virtual assistant, when she gets better, because I know in my heart of hearts that she will get better. I'm really hoping to have her back. And when she comes back, I don't expect her to come back full time. I expect her to take care of her and her family, and she may never come back. So I want to make sure this business is in a position that, I have other people doing other things, but the back end needs to be simplified. It needs to be automated. It needs to be easy. And so that's up to me to enforce those things, right? It's up to me to say, okay, what's going on here? And for me, my heart was like, I really want to help more people. Well, that $35 a month isn't helping more people, right? The free podcast is going to help more people, right? So I can sell that at a higher price point, and when that person is ready, they can buy the library. And the library gives me a lot more wiggle room. If someone doesn't pay and they've paid for a year, I'm just going to kick them out and tell them, when you're ready, you can come back. It just makes my life so much easier. Janelle's saying, I'm so happy that you took your advice and set my prices and policies that work for me. I no longer care about price shoppers and just move on. Plenty of clients to charge what you're worth. And you guys know how much I get nervous about the phrase charge what you're worth. But it is, you've got to find that. And part of your self-love is putting yourself first. I know my workshop library is worth $200 a year. I know that. 1000% I know that. But it's getting over that fear of, will anyone pay for it? And I don't care at this point. And I don't care at this point because I know I have good content and I'm in a position where I'm okay financially. And that's where I want you guys to be, right? I want you to be okay financially. I want you to be like, if no one ever buys this library ever again, it's okay. It's okay. Because I have other products and I'm helping people. And that's my main focus, is making a livable wage for myself where I'm comfortable and helping people. And I'm doing both. So the rest of the stuff is just me making myself crazy. And as you guys know, I tell myself, River, stop being crazy. So I want to thank you guys for being here so much tonight. I'm going to cut off early. I do need to hop out, and I'm going to go out with some friends, and we're going to go have a girls' Valentine's Day. I'm really excited about that. We rented a little igloo so we can have dinner in an outdoor igloo. Why not? Sounds romantic, right? We're going to have self-love for ourselves. It sounds so corny. I would have hated me 10 years ago. I would have been so mean to me. I would have talked so much smack about myself, who I am today. And I'm okay with that. River of, 2006, would have thought, that, 2022 River is kind of annoying, but it's all good. 80 is saying, are you still doing virtual coffees? Yes, I am still doing virtual coffees, but let me clarify, guys, what virtual coffees are. Virtual coffees are for people who are interested in my products or services. They want to hop on for 30 minutes and talk about either a little bit about their business and I can help them a little bit, or, somebody who needs help understanding the product. They're not a 75, what would it be? They're not like a 90% off coaching half hour. That is not what they're here for. They're not. They're there for someone to get to know me better so then they can decide what product they want to go into. Because I do offer half-hour coaching hours. They're pretty useless. I really need at least an hour to create some change. And depending upon how big the problem is, I really need about 4 hours with you to really dive deep, do things, and move and shake things. Generally, someone buys a half hour or they buy an hour alone. It's one tiny situation or problem they need help with, or they've already taken my classes and they just need some more extra support. Or they just want some help with that. Yeah, absolutely. So, she's saying she feels a bit stuck and needed you a bit. So I would definitely sign up for a coaching hour. They're not cheap. Generally, I know I'm laughing because I need to come out with more classes because they have coaching hours that we're going to be adding as a second tier. So the way master classes are going to work in the future, you can have your modules and then you can buy that product, or you can buy that product plus coaching hours. And when we launch the new product, we're going to offer that when we're doing our beta testing, right? The first couple of times we do a class live, we're always going to add in bonuses of 3 or 1 coaching hours, which is awesome for you guys because when I offer that, you basically get free coaching hours. If a coaching hour is $400 an hour, the product is $600 and you get the 3 coaching hours, you've basically gotten the product for free. And I feel like that's very fair. And that's, again, my goal is to help you and progress with you. All right, guys. So like I said, today's topic was all about put yourself first and self-love. If you need some extra help, you can hop into my free Facebook group, Savvy Pet Professionals. Post in there. I hang out there a lot. Not too much recently. Your girl is all over the place right now trying to get ready to buy this house and move yet again. And then if I never move again, it'll be too soon. Keep an eye out for our podcast, Greedy Bitch, launching very soon. I'm really excited to talk about why groomers should stop apologizing for charging what they're worth. And of course, if you're interested, we're also going to be launching very shortly the Business Workshop Library. And if you guys are in the current membership right now, you will be getting an email, if not tomorrow, the day after, explaining that. We're going to be archiving the Facebook group. It's just going to be a library of workshops for you to watch. And that'll help me out a lot because some of them I'm actually going to look at, see if I should update or revamp them, or come up with an alternative version of them because some of them are a little older and I have, gotten better at doing these things. So I'm really excited. So guys, have a great evening. Enjoy yourself. Stay warm, stay safe. And as always, guys, happy grooming.